Moving on to the sequences. So a sequence is defined as an order of set of items. So for example, Python is one. So it contained 13 characters, as we saw, and each item is a character. And we also discussed how to find the value of index value of all the characters, right? So similarly, we also have different types of sequences in Python. Apart from string, we also have list, tuple, range, bytes, and bytes arrays. We are currently discussing string type, list, tuple, range, and bytes array. We are going to discuss in the future. One thing common between all of these is we can do a lot of similar things as we discussed in string in other sequences as well. Now, coming to string replacement fields. So this whenever we are trying to print any string or a number, we might not be sure about the exact value of that variable that we are going to print, right? So we can use a string replacement field to display the value of anything before printing the value itself. Okay. So this is a very simple thing, and but it can be needed in future. So here, let's say if I want to display something like print, um, let's say my name is this. So this is the syntax, and we can leave it blank, or we can also use numbers here. If you have multiple things, you can use numbers also to define those values or the order in which you are going to print them. Okay. So for now, I'm leaving it blank, and I can use dot format, and I can give the value here. Okay. So you see, I'm getting the output as my name is Praveen. Here, if there are two multiple things like there are 31 days in, let's say dash days in dash. Okay. Now here I can modify the format differently. So I can just give 30 and January. Okay. Sorry, 31 in January. Yeah, as you see, I'm getting the values in the order I have written in the this format. Okay. So there are dash days. So it goes to the format function, and it finds the first value here, and it's going to print that 31 days in. Then after the second dash is going to the format function again and finding the second value and printing it. But we can also define the order in which it's going to find this. Okay. So let's say if I'm giving it 0, 1 and giving it as 0. Now you see there will be a difference. There are Jan days in 31. Now what's happening? It's going to the bracket, and from here it's going to the format function, and it's trying to find the value at the first index. As we already discussed, index always starts with 0. So the first index will be 0 and 1. It will be Jan. So so it's getting a Jan value here, and then in 0 it's getting the 31. So it's very useful in some of the cases where you have multiple requirements. So for example, if I have Jan and also March, okay, Jan and also March, there are dash days is Jan and also dash days in March. So what I'm going trying to say is there are 31 days in January and also 31 days in March. But since I'm using this index values here, I just have to define 31 once here. If I'm not using this, if I was not using this index values, I had to define it twice to get 31 values. You see, I'm getting 31 values both the times just by defining it once here. But if I'm not using this, if I'm not using the index value, ideally I'm going to get an error because I don't have, you see, I don't have the positional argument in the format function. So we have four different requirements, but we have only three values. Okay. And I can fix it actually just by defining 31 again here in the same order, and we are getting the same output. So using the index values also is very effective whenever we are printing, which requires printing something that requires repeated value. We can do that. So this is also a important feature in Python print function. Okay.